Thanks a lot for staying with us. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on Nigerian newspapers this morning. We've got a host of them with us here. Let's check out Blueprint first off. And of course, the big story there is ahead of Wednesday's campaign kickoff as Intrigues anxiety trail Tinubu, Atiku, and Obi's chances. Now, these are the three big names as the presidential election campaigns begin on Wednesday. And of course, naturally, Intrigues anxiety are said to be trailing their chances. On leadership this morning, it says 2 days to go. Political parties reject state charges for campaign signage as well as charges for billboards. Of course, this would also be a hotbed for many campaigns by political parties. Billboards will, of course, be wooed at this point now, and parties are said to be rejecting charges for their campaigns on billboards. To Tribune now, it says ahead of the 2023 polls, states to watch as campaigns kick off this week. Also building in the momentum at this time in Nigeria. But for national economy, it's still speaking about the election campaigns that begin this week. It's outlining what it calls tough economic questions that incoming president must answer. And of course, the questions include that how Nigeria's next president will tackle oil subsidy as well as forex, power, and other critical issues. And these are some of the questions that the incoming president must answer, tough economic questions, national economy says. To This Nigeria now. We're on This Nigeria, and it says that former President Goodluck Jonathan sends strong message to Nigerians, cautions against voting for killers. And the senior pastor of the Redeemed Christian Church of God is also admonishing Nigerians to be united to defeat enemies of the country. That's on the front page of This Nigeria. Let's quickly check out Punch now. It's headlining the state of the nation, politics and insecurities, that caption there. But then it gives us an interesting twist now to the whole frenzy at the moment. It says demand for bulletproof vehicles and special security gadgets surge. Demand for bulletproof SUVs and special security gadgets on the rise. Daily Trust next. Nigeria must have national dream and identity. That's according to another former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, who goes on to say that the country needs a unifier to address current disunity. And Vice President Yemi Osinbajo is also there as saying that Nigeria's future will be great. That's from Nigeria's Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. To Daily Times now, PFM, that's the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, and APC's Festus Keyamo, who is the spokesperson for the APC's Presidential Campaign Council, they are set to clash over Bishop's visit to the APC's flag bearer, Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu. That's on Daily Times. For the Nation newspaper, it says there's quiet in the PDP's National Working Committee over 10 billion naira nomination fees. That's on the Nation. First News now. Ohaneze Ndigbo bombs Atiku Abubakar, the flag bearer of the PDP. More fireworks there looming. Some had talked about, fireworks that will rise at this time, and we are seeing another reflection there. News Direct, spotlighting a said 93 billion naira debt. Mass disconnection looms for electricity consumers as discos vow to go tough. That's on News Direct. Let's quickly move along to Guardian. More airlines depart empty as charges, rejections stifle export. Spotlighting the aviation sector there. That's on The Guardian. Let's go to Nature News. Stakeholders target more investments in Nigeria's billion-dollar recycling sector. Talking about turning waste to wealth. Stakeholders target more investments in Nigeria's billion-dollar recycling sector. Abuja Inquirer, is leading with a 29 billion naira ground rent report, saying FCTA to prevent debtors from disposing of properties, consent letter now required. Business AM, and then we'll look at Business Day after that. For Business AM, amid ASU FG logjam, experts open capital market solutions for university funding. That's one more option on the table. We'll see how that plays out as discussions are set to possibly kick off this week. Amid ASU FG logjam, options there for capital market solutions to help in the funding of the nation's public universities. And finally is Business Day. Nigeria decides 2023, the state of play. Interesting headline story there. Nigeria decides the state of play. And indeed, as Tribune put it now, there are a number of states that one would need to be looking out for during this period as campaigns, of course, resume or begin headlong this week. Of course, River State would be one of those states. We've seen Governor Nyesom Wike. He hasn't stopped talking about the rift between him and other leaders of the party. Only Friday, too, he hosted media practitioners, also reiterating his stance and what he calls the way forward.
It was interesting what he said in the 2-hour meet with the media. It was revealing in some aspects what he said about the chairman of the PDP and about a certain $1 billion naira that he received. We need the man to come out, that's Ayu himself, to come out and rebut and respond to it, because it's a very important charge that a sitting governor and a patriarch of the party could make against the chairman of the party. It is not good for Nigerian politics. It's not good for Nigerian values. It's not good for the new generation to hear that for doing nothing, you get $1 billion naira. We don't know. Is it in pounds? Is it in sterling? Is it how our dollar value has started to plummet? Is that what is responsible? It's a very serious and important charge. It is not something that we take for granted, because this is a country that needs to make a reckoning about what is going on with the political society. He also talked about, they're already trying to share offices and all of that. And he also said that, if he is challenged, he has more to say on what is going on in the party. So it's not a matter that should just be put under the carpet. You cannot just put that away and say that, a governor is disgruntled, and he said it. He's a very powerful member of the PDP. If he said a thing like that, I expect the party, with evidence, to say this is what is happening. And if he is lying, they need to discipline him. It should have
even been instant.
Yeah.
And we've seen days pass now. This is
in
Monday.
silence.
This is Monday. And coming from Wike, of course, anything he says, naturally, ears would be attentive.
Yes.
For someone of his standing, as a long-standing top-ranking member of the PDP, naturally, one would have expected that, there will be some form of, more reconciliation, more direct reconciliation moves by the party.
Yes.
Well, that's for the PDP. And, of course, over the weekend, too, we saw the APC also, intensifying its own campaign organization.
Yes,
now it has more than 420 thereabout members who will now head and it says it has opened up under this campaign council about 21 directorates, strong power directorates that will help push its bid.
I think part of the strategy of the APC is to create as many cells as possible. So that when it's fighting the enemy, it comes out like a porcupine. When you land there, different sparks, very sharp objects are coming at you. So they are central. The porcupine has a heart. But the porcupine, if you come to it, has so many spikes.
The pieces are equally formidable.
Formidable.
Right?
So, if you come from the right, you come from the left.
Absolutely.
That seems to be their strategy.
I like that
picture, they have so
right?
many cells and so on all over the place.
Formidable.
And some of them are on their own, actually not funded from the center. They're individuals working. So we'll see how all of this pan out in the course of the campaign.
Absolutely.
Yes. And
it's going to be a beehive of activities today because all these members are expected to be in Abuja now at the headquarters of the party to collect their letters. There's going to be a prayer session which they say all members must attend. The president is also, among the big names there. He is heading the council as chairman.
Yes.
And there was some clarification after the announcement that the vice president wasn't deliberately omitted, but he
and the
SGF will hold the front. And so it will not be like the government or the country is at limbo while it, of course, campaigns and woos Nigerians to vote for it. Labour Party, too, we understand that Professor Patutomi has also come on board in a kind of...
Patutomi has always been on board from the beginning,
and then we hear that Jega, too, is also
yes,
there.
Jega has always been there.
Professor, is it Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala?
Okonjo-Iweala was the one now. He has now seen the exposure. Now he was the one who was behind the so-called BOI post, and it's actually the NOI poll, which is actually her name, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. So she has now come out of the woodwork.
So there's clarity on
yes,
that
and they have had relationship. Okonjo-Iweala and Obi have had relationship from childhood. The Obi grew up in the home.
They go way back.
In the home of the Okonjo-Iwealas. People should listen now. In Ghana, they grew up together. And some people thought that Obi was going to marry Okonjo-Iweala's sister. And it didn't happen. But it shows that they have a history together from childhood. And Obi is very close to the father of Okonjo-Iweala.
So all these are to be expected. No surprise, particularly
no
coming from that region.
No surprise.
All right.